What is up, guys and girls? I am Virtual Pix and welcome back to some PC building sim. Now, I had a idea and I was talking with a friend that actually has appeared on videos in the channel before. Cyberpunk. Don't know if he still goes by the same name or not, but hopefully he does. And we were discussing, overclocking and stuff, and I showed him the score that I got for this thing, which is a beautiful 24,767. I'm not going to try and beat that today. Instead, what I'm going to do is just go through with proper overclocking, which actually reminds me, there's something on this I kind of want to check. How did I get around that? I guess I didn't. Oh well. Enough of that. So, overclocking. First thing we've got to do is we've actually got to build ourselves a computer. So I'm going to take a little bit of a I don't think challenge is the right word for it. Essentially, I'm just going to build it out of like mostly AMD stuff. So there's that. So let's pick out a nice case. I'm quite partial to these cases. But I do quite like the NZXT cases as well. They're quite nice. The only problem with those is I don't believe I'll be able to get a good kind of amount of radiators in them. Where are the NZXT cases? They've disappeared on me. What the fuck? They're around here somewhere. Yeah, see, I don't think I'm really going to be able to get... Because I know with this one, like, you cannot get much in the way of good radiator flow. Well, I suppose we don't really have to make it so that it's all fanciful and shit, do we? Good lord, I actually forgot how many NZXT cases are. Anyway. This is always a hard choice, trying to decide which of the cases I want to use. I think I've got an idea. Actually, you know what? Yeah, screw it. Let's scroll up here because I've always quite liked the Cooler Master H500P, so let's go with this. Did not mean to do that. Right, so first things first. Let's get all of this shit off. Don't need any of that. Get all of that gone. It's a shame I can't take that out, but you know, it's fine. Now, I know for a fact I'm going to need that, and that one out because I just already know what I have to do with these. Let's see. There's a particular motherboard that I want to put in there, and I need to find it. But actually, here we go. Steel Legend. One of the nice new ones that actually was in an update which I think was either literally yesterday or maybe like 2 days ago. So this is like really fucking new in the game. Not in the game at least. So, storage. Of course we gotta go for that M.2 storage. So in it goes. And then CPUs, I think. Again, we're going to go for one of the newer ones. In fact, I'm actually going to limit it to AMD because this is an AMD board. And there's a particular number that I'm looking for. There it is, the 3900X. There you go. Why am I so far over? What the hell? Obviously, we can't forget our thermal paste. Gotta put the thermal paste in. Right, now here's the interesting bit, because if I go up here, if I just type in steel again, obviously here we can see our max RAM speed is 3466 megahertz. We're not putting that in. As a much enjoyed YouTuber of mine says, those are rookie numbers. So we're going for the 4800. And there's a reason for that. And it's actually to do with the way we're going to be overclocking. You know, yeah, let's put plenty of power in this thing. Just put 1600 in, because then we don't have to worry about power or anything. So, what the bloody hell are those? Get those ghastly things out of my sight. Let's see, what colour do we want? You know, I'm feeling a bit like I might put a white and cyan in. Where the hell are the white and cyan? Ah, there they are. So, god damn it, thing, you're in my way. There we go. Get those white and cyan ones in. And then I think we are all good on that front for the time being. Next thing we've got to do, get the reservoir in. So we're gonna stick. Wait, is that the? Oh yeah, that is the RGB one. Cool. And then obviously, you know, we've got to go for the Rezheng one, because the Rezheng one's actually really nice. Also, I quite like its pipe layout. And then I feel like this song might be copyrighted, but I don't know. But again, it's this stuff. So Vegas 64. I don't think we're gonna get anything better than the Vegas 64. Yeah, it looks like it's just gonna be the Vegas 64. And the Radeon, which where is it? There it is. Get in there! Thank you. And obviously we're gonna need some radiators in there. Now we've got to go for the RGB ones. Can't be anything less. Now I think, yeah, I can't put a triple in there because that would be in the way. So we're gonna put a double in there. Now I don't know if I'm gonna be able to fit a, yeah, no, I'm not gonna be able to fit a double in there. Can I fit a single in there? No, I can't. Ah, well, that is going to very, very much limit what we're able to do. So, I'm going to do something real fucking crazy. I'm going to take that shit out. And instead, I'm going to stick a single in. Fuck, I can't put two singles in. Unless, you know what? Give me 1 second. I'm gonna swap out the case for something different. So let me just pick that up and swap out the entire case. I'll be right back once I've got everything back in there. Overclocking, the part that we're actually all here for. It took me fucking forever to build that case. Like, the actual, like, fucking mess of piping in there is actually ridiculous. But alas, I got through it in the end. So, first thing we want to do with the overclocking. This needs to go up to the max, which is 3,466 for this board. And then the first thing we want to do is take note of that, 4,600 megahertz. I then want to drop that down to about 4,300 and raise that back up using the base clock ratio. That's fine. That little bit of overclock is not going to hurt. Actually, I can go further than that because this is 4,800. So I'm going to take this right down to 30. Actually, I'm going to go to 35 on the ratio. I'm then going to cook this all the way back up. So I need to go down just a teach more. Just kind of balance that CPU ratio out. Come on, balance the fucking CPU out, damn it. That's fine. A little bit of overclock is not going to hurt. That's a bit much. That's still a little bit much, so I need to clock that back just a smidge. Come on, just a bit more. Okay, I think I can put that up. Yeah, a little bit isn't gonna hurt. And then I don't know if we're gonna be able to overclock the CPU that much. You know, only one way to find out, because it will install the OS no matter what. But that's the most part is that I'm gonna have to reset this anyway. So let's stick the GPU tuner in there. We're not gonna restart right away. We're gonna put the OCCT in there, and we're just gonna put 3D Mark in there, and then we're gonna reset. And then I'll go through and explain exactly what I just did. Come on, enter the BIOS for me. Right, so obviously, first thing I did, turn up the RAM speed all the way as much as the board can handle. You then want to turn your base clock up, but you want to take your ratio down. So for every time you go up in the ratio, you want to go down a smidge on the base clock. Yeah, see, I think that's about as close as I'm going to get. I'm going to shift a bit more power to that, actually. But yeah, so if you see what I did, I've turned the base clock up, but the ratio down. And the reason for that is if you turn the base clock up without turning the ratio down, you're going to fry your CPU. You're just going to be shoving way too much power for it. Fortunately, on this game, unlike real life, it doesn't give a shit about your bus speed. The RAMs do have an upper limit on this. The RAM memory does have an upper limit, but the motherboard itself couldn't care less. So, from what I've discovered so far, this should, in theory, it should work. I might be overclocking the CPU just a bit too much, but we're about to find out. Because I'm gonna, yeah, see, I've got 100% on this because it's only a little bit over, and then 139% on the bus overclock. Now, I don't know, but I think the CPU is pretty much gonna immediately overheat. No? That's holding. I don't know how, but that is holding. I I wonder if I'm actually going to be able to overclock this and get a better score out of it. Because now comes the fun part. This bit's super easy. So with the... What are they called again? The fucking graphics cards. The, I think it's 2080 Ti. You know, the lighter one. The new one they added. These things. What is that? Move the side panel. That's it. The GeForce RTX 2080 Ti Alpha Core. And the reason you want the Alpha Core is because you can do this with them. And this is one of the reasons why they're my favourite card. Because what you do is if you've got 1600 watt power supply in there, you just cook this all the way out. Just all the way out. And then you want to take this up to around 230. We'll start with 230 and see how that goes. For that, I tell you what, I'm going to go a bit below that, and I'm going to take that up to a 220. So I just want to match that. And I think we should be good. Now, depending on how much the heat rises in those GPUs, I might be able to squeeze an extra 5, maybe 10 out of them. Can I squeeze an extra 10 out of these? Now these changes are instant, so obviously I need to reset the timing. I need to, because I could do it on infinite, but I prefer using the automatic, just because it's actually a little easier. Oh, I might actually be able to take this up, maybe another 5 or 10. So you only want to go up 5 at a time. You want to keep a very close eye on your temperature, because these GPUs can get up to around 95-ish. The minute they hit 95, it'll blue screen. That's it, you've had your lot. But if I just keep edging these up just ever so gently, I might be able to get a little bit more out of them. Am I going to be able to go up to 255? I might be able to go up to 260. Now the only risk here is that I'm getting very close to that core voltage. I might have to up the core voltage. Okay, so I'm going to up the core voltage to 19, which is as high as it will go, and I'm going to push these up to 265. It is holding. Nope. I don't know if that was heat or power. So let's have a look. I need to watch the power and the heat here, because I know this is probably gonna spike again. No, it does appear to be holding. I think I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. And what we're going to do is run the 3D mark and see what the score we get is. So obviously I used the GPU overclock, well, the GPU tuner to overclock the absolute ever living fuck out of those poor little GPUs in there. Like, they are actually cooking. And then I put in RAM, which is far faster than the board itself can go. So the 4800 RAM on a board that can normally only manage 3466, and then I upped the ratio whilst lowering the base clock in order to keep the CPU about the speed that it goes in at, which on that particular chip is 4600. But in upping the ratio but lowering the base clock, I kept the CPU at around that mark, whilst upping the fuck out of the RAM, making the RAM actually run ever so slightly faster than what it's meant to. So in theory, this should get a pretty good score. Nope. I think it ran out of power. That was GPU, which means it either ran out of power or we ran out of... So you know what, I'm actually going to back the GPU off just a smidge. And now we should be able to pass through. Because, like I said, it could be heat. I'm fairly certain it's not temperature. I think, if anything, it's probably power. Even though we got a 1600 watt power supply in there. Actually, no, we don't, do we? We've actually got a... What have we got in there? An 850 watt power supply. So, I mean, I'm not going to be able to fit a 1600 in there. Question. Could I fit maybe 1000 watt in there? There is the 1100 watt. You know what? Because I'm fairly certain that was power that's the problem. I think... Yep. I can just barely fit that in. Because I'm pretty sure the problem with the running on that is that it didn't have enough power. Because I'm not sure if it's a bug in the game or what, but there is a point on this that I've noticed that you can overclock something to a point in where it will go through and it will be stable heat-wise, but when you're actually going through the 3D mark, the power will get to the GPU section and it will climb, and it will just keep climbing the entire time, which is where the problem lies. Because eventually you're going to hit the cap. And that was only an 850 watt system in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that up to that. In fact, actually, you know what? I'm going to install the system info. Pretty sure I've showed this in a video before, but it's a little secret that I found out. The game doesn't actually tell you can do this. I discovered this completely by accident. So what you do is you open up System Info, you open up 3D Mark, you run 3D Mark, and you get this. So now, whilst running 3D Mark, I can actually keep an eye on my power consumption and my temperatures all at once. And I know, because I know 3D Mark, I know that this is the CPU test, because when it does its tests, I'm pretty sure the game runs like this too. That it only runs it on one specific component at a time. It only runs it on the CPU or the GPU. Unlike this version of 3D Mark, the real one actually goes GPU and then CPU. This one goes CPU and then GPU. So CPUs look fine. Yeah, see here, our power is climbing, and it's just continually climbing. But it's okay at the moment because we're only at about half, we're just over half of what we can handle. As long as we can get through this without reaching a 1100 watt ratio, it will log the score. The only thing is I don't know if it's going to make that. Yeah, because see, here's about roughly, yeah, that's where it kind of blew last time. There you go, there you go. 2205, which isn't terrible for 3900X. That's not terrible. I mean, the reason it's not as high as this thing is because this has got the i9 9980XE in it. and this thing is pretty tight on its power. Again, I don't actually know how I managed to get that in there. I'm kind of glad that I did though, because it's what actually allows for that. But now the only thing is, I wonder, could I potentially get? No, I can't. Yeah, so with a 1,600 thing in there, I can't actually get that in. And actually getting the I'll think of it in a minute. Actually getting all the piping in this other one over here to actually work and do a thing was a fucking nightmare. Now, it is a shame that you can't actually see through those. But alas, overclocking in a nutshell. So obviously you use your GPU tuner, you use your OCCT, and then when you go into the BIOS, you up it as much as you can on the RAM side, and then you want to up your ratio and lower your base. No, you want to lower your ratio and up your base clock. Sorry, I got that around the wrong way initially. And then you should be good. But obviously, when you're upping the RAM, make sure that you keep it kind of within a respectable. So don't go making, like, I don't know, say for instance taking a 3600 and trying to make it do 4800. It's not going to do it. It's just, they don't work like that. The RAMs do actually have an upper limit. I'm not sure what the upper limit on those RAM chips is, but I wouldn't mind betting it's probably pretty decent. Now, I probably could, if I wasn't like all for the RGB, I could actually make that system more powerful quite easily by just using the 16 gig one and doing pretty much the same thing. In fact, actually, what is the overclock on this? Sometime this year. Yeah, see, so I've got 5,230. Huh, now that's interesting. If I've got a 5,236 on that, could, in theory, I could back that off a bit. Now, because this is an AMD chip, I might be able to cook the CPU just a little bit more than I can with an i9. 5025, 5060, 5129, 164. So if I back this right down to about 29 and then just cook the fuck back out of that, 5,510. So if I bring that up to about there, 5,406. Now I think 5,236. What I'm going to do is just very gently lower that down. So I want to toy with this just a little bit. 5,152 with a 28 megahertz overclock on the CPU. I don't know if this chip is going to take this. If it takes it, there's 161% overclock on the bus. It might make this. Yeah, CPU seems to be fine with that. and it's a 28 megahertz overclock. So that's going to give us a new score. And the question is, what was the score on this? 22,503. See what that manages, because obviously we're not going to get any more out of the GPU because the GPUs are already struggling as is. And I think, yeah, I see the CPU is the only way we're actually going to be able to clock up any extra point. But you'd be surprised how much a RAM overclock can actually do. And whilst going through some of these missions, like some of the missions and that you can get in this, I've noticed there's a couple where it overclocked. Like it's asking you to overclock the CPU to frankly unrealistic things, just things that the chips aren't capable of. And I wonder if maybe sometimes you could get away with screwing it over by doing it to the RAM rather than the chip, because I've had a mission before, in fact recently actually, I saw one come up where it wanted me to overclock a CPU to like 5,300 megahertz, which is like, beg your pardon? Yeah, 22,847. So I actually managed to get a bit more out of it. But yeah, that's more or less how you do the overclocking. Although, word of warning before I end this long as fuck video, don't do this to your actual computer, because overclocking your bus speed by 164% is more than likely gonna fry your motherboard. Your motherboard just in real life is just not gonna handle that in the slightest unless you have an absolute beast of a board. Most people aren't going to have a beast of a board that's going to do this, and frankly, unless you're qualified, just don't go playing around in the BIOS for this on a real computer, because it's a very easy way to blow your computer up. With that being said, that does it for this video. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button, stay awesome as always, and I will see you lot in the next video.